The Monster of Canterlot, Chapter 22. As I walked with Twilight to the train station, I was very glad it would take a couple hours to reach Canterlot. I needed the sleep. I was up late thinking about the kiss Rose gave me and how much I wanted another one. Of course I wanted more, but I would settle for another kiss right now. Twilight was talking to me the whole time, but I wasn't listening. I had another mare on my mind. It wasn't until Rainbow Dash swooped down and landed on my back, wrapping her forelegs around my neck and draping her head to one side. "Hey, you weren't planning on leaving and not saying bye to your friends, were you?" Rainbow asked, accused. "No, of course not. I wasn't thinking straight is all." "I'll say," Twilight confirmed. "I've been telling embarrassing stories about him all the way from the library, and he hasn't said a thing." "You what? For all these ponies to hear? Why, you evil purple menace." I flipped the tip of her horn, causing Twilight to wince, while she laughed. "Oh, I almost forgot. I need to get Mom's cake from the cakes before I hit the train station." "Well, make it quick," Rainbow ordered as she flew up from my shoulders. "Every pony's waiting on you." We waved to each other as she flew away. Twilight and I continued to Sugarkeep Corner. I got the cake and got to play with the fools a little before we had to leave. So I got to have fun, and I prevented an Equestria-wide disaster. A win-win. We left the bakery and headed straight for the station. I know what you're thinking. Why didn't he stop by to see Rose one more time before he left town? But I had seen her last night, and the train was scheduled to leave within the hour. Besides, all my other friends were waiting on me. The 5 other element bearers and their sisters were already on the platform, and prepared to give me a big send-off. Heck, even the mayor had shown up. "Chris!" Pinkie shouted as she launched herself at my chest, wrapping me in a serious bear hug. Luckily, Twilight had been quick enough to snatch Celestia's cake from me with her magic and hold it high above our heads before Pinkie could ruin it. "Pinkie Pie!" Rarity chasttised. "You know better than to attack some pony like that. Some pony could have been hurt." It's okay, Rarity, because Chris isn't a pony. He's a big, tough predator," Pinkie growled. Rarity rolled her eyes and sighed, while every pony else laughed at her antics. Pinkie finally slid off me, and Rarity walked up to offer her farewell. "Darling, it was an honor to make that outfit for you, and I shall make you many more if you like." "I would like that, Rarity. In fact, I think I may have to place an order right now for my day-to-day clothing. Mom's jerkins are nice and all, but they're not the most comfortable." "Oh, excellent! Here, consider this a sample of my upcoming work." A box was levitated into my hand. Upon opening the box, I found a cotton shirt with Celestia's cutie mark on the breast and some nice slats to match. "This is great, Rarity." I knelt down and hugged her. "Thank you so much." "You are quite welcome, and please, feel free to visit us here any time." I stood up and nodded to her. I was then slugged in the shoulder by Rainbow Dash. "And don't forget, you and I still need to get some more sparring in. I mean, I can't have some alien from another world be more awesome than me, now can I?" I rubbed her scruffy mane and laughed. "No, I suppose we can't have that. After all, there can only be one awesomest in Equestria." "Hey, yeah!" she shouted as she drifted away. Next thing I knew, I was on the ground with 3 little fillies on my chest. I could tell they were saying something along the lines of, "We'll miss you," but I couldn't distinguish any individual words. Luckily, my salvation in orange fur was there to save the day. All 3 were lassoed and yanked off of me. "Now y'all know better than to jump on ponies like that, especially when they're as squishy as he is." Applejack laughed, quite pleased with herself. She trotted up with a bag of apples in her mouth, and I took them from her. "Here you go, the biggest, juiciest apples on my farm. I hope you like 'em." "Thanks, Applejack. I'll be sure to share these with Mom and Aunt Luna. They'll love 'em." I felt a tug on the back of my shirt. I turned around and saw Fluttershy sitting on her haunches and hiding behind her mane. I knelt down to be on her level. She surprised me by hugging me tightly. I could have sworn I saw her wings twitch a little, but she probably just lost her balance. It made me feel a little guilty that I didn't get a chance to see her more while I was visiting. I was even about to tell her so, but when we were interrupted. "I hope you weren't going to try to sneak off without saying goodbye." I turned my head and saw her. Rose-luck. She was looking as beautiful as always. "Rose, you made it!" Fluttershy slowly released me, and I made my way over to Rose. She stood up on her hind legs, and we hugged. I even got another kiss. It was on the cheek, but I gladly accepted. "Of course I did. I couldn't let my stallion leave town without me saying goodbye, though you seemed to be fine with it." "What? No, I didn't." This time I was interrupted by her lips being pressed firmly against mine. A moment later she pulled back. "You're so cute when you're flustered." We went back to hugging. It almost made me want to stay here, but the train conductor had other plans. "All aboard for Canterlot!" The train will be leaving in 1 minute. Well, I guess I should get going. I'll see you all again soon. I kissed Rose. I'll see you even sooner. Miss Mayor, thank you for making me feel so welcome in your town. You're very welcome, Your Highness. Please, feel free to return any time. Of course I will. Ladies, I wish I could stay longer, but I need to be getting home. Farewell, my friends. I climbed aboard and quickly found a seat. I leaned out the window and waved. In fact, I waved until I couldn't see the station anymore. After I pulled myself back inside, I sat back in my seat and watched the world go by. It wasn't long before I slipped into Luna's realm. At least this time I didn't enter REM sleep, and my nap went uninterrupted. Canterlot Station! Please collect your belongings and watch your step, the conductor called, rousing me from my sleep. I stood up and stretched, bumping my hands into the ceiling and walls. I snickered and picked up my bats and cake. Not easily accomplished without magic, and made my way onto the platform. I was quickly recognized by a guard who rushed over. Your Highness, please, allow me to assist with your luggage. The cake was lifted from my hand, but I held on to my bats. Thank you very much. Could you see to it that they all make it to the palace? The cart was rushed over, seemingly from nowhere, and I placed my bats on it, and the cake was laid on top. Of course, Prince. If you wish, I can also arrange a chariot for yourself. No, that's okay. I want my arrival to be a surprise, but thank you for the offer. As you wish, the guard said as he bowed. He then barked some orders, and the cart was rushed off by a bellhop. Do you wish for an escort to the palace? Sure, just don't get too close. I have a hard enough time not scaring ponies as it is. Yes, sir. And with that, I began my stroll through the royal city. I did my best to appear friendly and non-threatening, and the guards did their best to be inconspicuous. Sadly, it's hard to be sneaky while wearing gold armor, just like it's hard to not look like a predator when you are one. I was soon realizing I wasn't in Ponyville anymore. Now, no pony was being mean, and there wasn't any panic, but I could hear the whispers. Being as tall as I am, I could see over the heads of ponies, and the look on a lot of their faces was not one of happy excitement. I almost wished I had taken the chariot, but I knew exposure was the best option. The only way to distill fear was to show them they had no need for it. Stop! Thief! I turned to look up the street at the source of the distress call, in time to see a brown unicorn stallion come galloping straight towards me, followed by a tan earth mare in a shopkeeper's apron. Other ponies were getting out of the way of the two-pony stampede, which was probably the wise thing to do. I was never accused of being wise. I stepped to the side and readied myself. With my knees bent and arms outstretched, I was set. Just as the stallion was beginning to pass me, I wrapped my arms around his barrel and lifted him off the ground. His momentum caused me to spin and stumble, but I managed to stay upright with him held tight against my chest. Please, let me go! I'm sorry, please! He begged as he squirmed. I heard the distinct sound of an apple hitting the ground and rolling away. I managed to get him down on the ground and pressed a knee down on his ribs and grabbed his horn with one hand, both immobilizing his head and body and blocking his magic. The whole time he was begging me to let him go and saying he was sorry. Shortly after, the mare who was chasing him caught up, and so did the guards who were following me. You got him! Thank you, Your Majesty! The mare dropped into a bow. The fact that she still had some forward momentum made it quite humorous. Prince Chris, are you alright? One of the guards asked. I'm fine, thanks. Now, miss, what happened here? The mare rose. This guy just stole an apple from my cart and took off. He's been stealing from vendors all over the marketplace. He's a no-good thief. No, I'm not. Please, let me go. The stallion struggled again, but he wasn't going anywhere. Quiet! A magic aura surrounded his hooves and horn. I released his horn and stood up. You'll be able to explain yourself to the princess. The thief was hauled off by a couple guards, leaving one for me. I could hear him begging for his release the whole time. I actually felt bad for him. He stole food. If he had stolen bits or something of value, that would be one thing, but he stole food. I just hope Celestia goes easy on him. Thank you again, Your Majesty, the shopkeeper said. She picked the apple he had taken up off the ground. Dang, this apple's no good now. I pulled out my pouch of bits, there were only 5 left, and handed it to her. Will this cover it? She nodded, accepted it, bowed again, and happily trotted off. Are you certain you're alright, Prince? I assured him I was. Oh, good. I'd hate to imagine what your mother would do to any of us if you were injured on our watch. Yeah, me too. I walked over to the dropped apple and picked it up. It didn't look like much, and it wasn't very big. Why risk stealing something like this? I walked over to a nearby dumpster and tossed it in. No pony would want an apple this bruised. Inside, I found an old canvas tarp and was struck with an idea. The tarp was a little dirty and covered with holes, but it was too good to pass up. 15 minutes later, my guard and I arrived at the palace. I said hello to maids and guards as I walked in, and told them to keep my arrival secret for just a bit longer. After all, it wouldn't be much of a surprise if some pony blabbed to Celestia. Shortly, I reached the corridor outside the throne room. There were still a few ponies waiting to see Celestia. They all had some reason to see her and ask for her assistance, some valid, many more that were petty. She once told me that this was a royal duty that she both loved and loathed. She loved being able to help her citizens, but she despised seeing just how selfish and greedy they can be. I waited until there wasn't any more ponies in line and set my plan into action. I sat on the floor and brought my knees as tight against my chest as possible. Then, I wrapped the tarp around myself. The guard even helped to make sure that I was totally concealed. Then, he headed inside the throne room. "Are there any more ponies out there, or are we finished for the day?" I could hear the carefully hidden fatigue. I guess she wasn't getting much sleep lately, and these requests were sapping what little energy she had left. "There is only one stallion remaining, Princess." "Very well. Send him in." "I would, Your Highness, but he said he doesn't wish to sully you with his horrible deformities and maladies. He refuses to enter the throne room." Celestia stood from her throne and began to walk towards the huge doors. "Nonsense! I would never sink so low as to turn away any of my little ponies based on their looks." The door swung open and my vision was filled with gold-tipped white legs. I couldn't see anything else due to the tarp. "Please, my fair stallion, tell me what it is you need." I spoke with a scratchy growl so as to disguise my voice. "My dear princess, I do not wish to trouble you, but I need a home. You see, my misshapen body has prevented me from finding a job, friends, or even a mare. I don't need much, just a roof over my head to protect me from the cruelty of nature. Please, can you help me?" "Of course I will help you, you poor thing. Now please, let me see your face." Slowly, I raised an arm and allowed the tarp to slide up, revealing my hand. I heard a loud gasp just a split second before the tarp was ripped away by her magic. I looked up into her huge eyes and smiled. "Hey, Mom. I'm home." Now, I'm sure there have probably been a few rumors about our reunion, but I wanted to straighten something out. Celestia absolutely did not tackle me in a huge hug that inclined all four legs and both wings that wound up having us rolling down the hallway while she licked my face. There was no face licking involved at all. However, there was a lot of kisses. "Oh, my baby is back home. This is the best way to end a long day of court ever. I've missed you so much. I swear I'm not letting you go for a long—" "Honey, what happened to your face?" "Huh? What are you talking about? Where?" I asked as I touched my own face. Then I felt a stinging pain just under my eye. "Oh, I guess I got scratched by that guy's horn when I caught him. No big deal." "Wait, what guy? What happened?" The guard who had escorted me stepped up to respond. "You should be proud of him, Princess. Your son caught a thief in the marketplace and tackled him to the ground. All by himself, too. It was all—" You know, I never really wondered what an ethereal mane would look like if it was made of fire. But I know now. "Bring me the condemned! Right now!" And that was my homecoming.